Welcome to Fox One Gal Stories. I'd like to tell a story about self-importance. Remember, I have no fancy title after my name or a paper that says I'm qualified to do this. So let's just call it a story. I'm just sharing some ideas here and there for the taking. Or please feel free just to turn this off. The root of all evil is self-importance. I don't have a belief to say this, and I don't want you to have a belief about this. But let's see if there is something to this idea and put it to the test. So there came a time where I wanted to end the war between my mind and myself by looking at my thinking. Remember, this is not about hating our mind or our thinking. As I like to say, our thinking would rather be right than be happy. One of my biggest challenges I ever had to face, and it still rears its head when I least expect it to, is my self-importance. This is truly a battle to stop believing everything is about me, to stop taking everything personally, to end my selfishness and my self-centered behaviors, my manipulating and controlling conduct, my defensive actions, my need to be right, my need to have things done my way, and my obsessive pride. So to sum it up by saying that is what the task is, and I can see it for what it is, that my focus or my attention has been on my mind or my ego for most of my life. So I began to change it and place it back on my heart. The result of this battle was to reclaim my freedom from the ego of the mind. I can't remember when I actually started to do this, but I'm still doing it because I've seen some interesting benefits from this. I had to stop taking things personally. This is a great tool for letting go of self-importance. I had to practice this one over and over again. Why is it important for me? When we take things personally, then we get offended, and our reaction is to defend our beliefs and then create conflicts. We can discuss and share ideas, but defending them is an act of war. We can make something big out of something so little because we have the need to be right and make everyone else wrong. So let me share a simple example of how this can work for us. For example, let's say a friend invites you over for dinner on a Friday night and you can't come. And she gets angry with you and says you're being mean or you're a selfish friend. This is her point of view based on how she believes a friend should behave, and you're not playing by her rules. Her judge in her own mind has no choice but to sentence you to being a mean and selfish friend. If you can see what is happening clearly, you don't have to argue your position with your friend. After all, you can't win here. Indeed, there is nothing to win. You don't have to take her belief system personally. Yell at her or explain to her how busy you are. If you do, you will be trying to make her wrong and yourself right by justifying your point of view. Then she'll want to make you wrong and herself right. There can be no understanding or resolution when people are defending their point of view. I would simply say to my friend, I love you and would do nothing to hurt you. Friday does not work for me. Can we do this on another day? I know I can't clap only with one hand. In other words, if you don't argue, there can be no argument. So when you're about to take something personally, count to 10 and create some detachment between you and that person or what is happening. Use that moment to remind yourself that you have a choice here as to whether you're going to make what is happening all about you or not. Why is it important? If you're going to make it all about you, guess what you are showing? If you choose to make it not about you, then you're not taking what is happening personally. After all, if someone is having a bad day, who is really making their day bad? Their own mind or me? Remember, being responsible also means you're not responsible for others' actions, emotions, or behaviors. You're just responsible for you. That is all. After all, once your mind tells you you are responsible, guess what you have just done? You made an assumption. And here's an idea. Appreciate that you have no idea what anyone else is thinking. Ask for clarification about anything that is not 100% clear. And don't make assumptions. And I had to practice this one a lot. And it's just like second nature to me now. Others might get irritated with my questions, but no biggie. I'd rather be clear than a you-know-what. since I know people have lots and lots of ideas swimming around in their head, and that it's better to ask for clarification than not asking. After a lot of self-observation, I realized how many assumptions I was making. And of course, others do this all the time. We believe we know what others mean or what they are thinking. In reality, we cannot know what another person has in mind, not even with the people that we are closest to. How many times have we been sure we understood what someone else said, only later that person swears they never said such a thing? How many times do you imagine all kinds of things because you made assumptions about circumstances? If we don't ask, how will we know? That brings me to doing your best. Just do your best. This will stop a lot of that self-judgment. If we're always being critical or judging our actions, we'll never take a chance in life. Our fear of being victimized by our own mind will keep us locked into a life of mediocrity and boredom. The people who have the most interesting lives are the ones who don't care what anyone else thinks of them. In other words, I don't take myself personally. How often do we beat ourselves up because of something we have said or did? Most people will forgive our transgressions. We are the hardest on ourselves. Doing our best is not an excuse to be control freak, to do 110% to try to impress others or our own judge. I simply do my best because it works for me. If we can see clearly how self-importance is the root of any unhealthy relationships we have with the people in our lives, letting go of our need to be right and our one-sided point of view can enable us to enjoy the people we love and in turn enjoy our lives. Remember, I said I am ruthless in my thinking. No pity. I won't participate in pity, not for myself or others. Picture a coin for a moment, with self-importance on one side and self-pity on the other. The two are the same thing, two sides of the same coin. You might be wondering how that can be possible. I can take any situation that I have felt victimized, self-pity, by someone else's maltreatment of me. It's all about me and my painful situation, filled with suffering and hurt. I want people to feel bad for me, and I want to be right, which is self-importance at the expense of someone else. This is selfish, no matter what point of view you may take, the side of self-pity or self-importance. If I can see how self-pity and self-importance go hand in hand, then I feel it's important to have clarity in my own behaviors and motivations. The one way I can do that is to ask myself some questions. Does my need to be right show itself in my life? Do I find myself constantly defending my point of view? Can I see where I might have been acting from a self-centered point of view? Am I manipulating and controlling others? How do others feel if I behave this way? If I feel that others in my life are manipulating and controlling me, can I look at their behavior from their point of view and see the underlying factors? And if their behavior has affected me, can I forgive them? Do I catch myself insisting that things have to be done my way? If I behave like that, how do people react to me? When has my pride prevented me from saying I am sorry? When has my pride preventing me from forgiving someone else or forgiving me? Have I martyred myself in any way in my life? I may think of my personal relationships. Does martyring actually satisfy me? Have I tried to make someone feel bad for me by embellishing in a story to make it sound worse than it was? Did I feel empowered by doing this? And what do I think I was empowering? When I felt victimized in my life, did I try to blame my circumstance on someone else? What was my responsibility in the creation of those circumstances? This is a great opportunity just to take a look to see if I played the victim or indulged in self-pity. If I can take responsibility for my part, remember you're only responsible for you, and forgive all parties involved. Forgive that I didn't know something. Forgive the other person for their actions and their effects they may have caused on me. I can increase my freedom quota immensely. Fox One Gal, over and out. Until next time.